Canton Kitchen, and thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to show you guys how to make my tiramisu recipe. It is so good and it's really easy, and it's perfect to make ahead for a dinner party on a warm summer day like today. Let me show you how to make it. First, I'm going to start out with 1.5 cups of coffee, and then I'm going to add some cocoa powder, vanilla, and any liqueur of your choice. I'm using Marsala wine. That's kind of the traditional liqueur to add to it, but you can use whatever you want. You can use Bailey's cream, you can use rum, you can use Kahlua, you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to start off with 1 tablespoon of cocoa powder, 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of Marsala wine. You don't have to add it. You can make this alcohol free if you're making this for kids or if you just don't drink alcohol. This is totally optional. Ooh. And then I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir. This is looking perfect. I'm going to set this aside, and now I'm going to start on my mascarpone cream. I have a large mixing bowl for my egg whites here, and I have another bowl over here for my egg yolks. This is going to be where I make my mascarpone cream. And this is just a small bowl over here to catch my eggshells. Okay, so I'm going to start separating the yolks and the whites, and I'll show you how I do it. I'm just going to crack the egg, and then I'm going to use the shell halves to catch the yolk and kind of pass it back and forth. And I'm going to let the egg whites kind of drizzle down. This is a little messy. Just going to pass it back and forth between the eggshell halves and letting that egg white drip down. Then you're going to add it to your mixing bowl and throw away the eggshells. I have my 4 egg yolks right here. This is for my mascarpone cream. It's going to add a little richness to it. If you don't want to use raw egg yolks, you can either cut them out completely or you can just use pasteurized egg product. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1/2 cup of sugar. This is white sugar we're using here. Add that in. Next, I'm adding 2 tubs of mascarpone. These are both 8 ounces, so we're using 16 ounces in total. And finally, for our mascarpone cream, we're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt. This is just kosher salt that I'm using here. And I'm going to use an electric hand mixer to mix it all together. So now our mascarpone cream is done. It is looking delicious. It looks super creamy. And now we're going to whip our egg whites. So for whipping my egg whites, I'm going to use my standing mixer, but you can also just clean off your beaters from your electric hand mixer and use that instead. You can also use heavy cream instead if you don't want to use raw egg whites. That's totally fine. I'm going to turn it on quite high until stiff peaks form, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So my egg whites are done, and I'll show you what they look like. They have stiff peaks, which means when I turn the whisk over, they stay intact. And that is exactly what we're looking for. Gonna get it all out of the whisk. So now we're going to take our whipped egg whites and we're going to fold it into our mascarpone cream. And it's going to make it really fluffy and frothy and just light as air. It's going to be like cloud. It's going to be so good. Now we're going to fold it together gently. We don't want to take any of the air out of our egg whites. Just going to fold our mascarpone cream and our whipped egg whites together. And I'm kind of turning the bowl as I fold just to make sure that I'm getting everything. And to fold it together, I'm just kind of scooping underneath and then bringing it back to the top. Scooping underneath and bringing it back to the top. And it's just kind of a gentler way of mixing it all together so you're not breaking up any of that air that's in the whipped egg whites. Okay, this looks perfect, and now it's time to assemble our tiramisu. And now we're going to start assembling our tiramisu. We're going to start out with a layer of ladyfingers dipped in our coffee mixture. The ladyfingers that I have are pretty crispy and hard. Sometimes you find kind of softer cake-like ladyfingers in the grocery store. Just use whatever you can find. If you can only find the soft cake-like ones, just try to dip them for a little bit less time. Now for this kind, the crispy kind, I usually do about 1 second per side. So I'll show you how I do that. 1 Mississippi, to Mississippi. That's kind of my trick to use so I don't dip for too long. And then I just lay it in there. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And it won't feel like enough time, but I promise you, as these sit, it's going to absorb more of that coffee. It's going to get really soft, and you don't want it to be too soggy. Because sometimes if you soak them for too long, you get kind of a liquidy tiramisu. And I'm going to do this until the bottom of our dish is covered. And you can use any dish you like. I'm using a pie plate. You can use any like 2-quart dish. You can use a square baking pan. You can use a little casserole dish. You can use whatever you have. And now I'm going to start kind of breaking these apart. So I'll show you what I mean. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. I'm gonna break it in half to kind of fit it in there. So now we're going to add half of our mascarpone cream. It's going to be a really nice, thick, generous layer. No skimping here. And I'm going to spread that out over the ladyfingers. And now on top of the mascarpone cream, we're going to add a layer of cocoa powder. Use my little sifter. I'm gonna kind of tap it and do a nice little layer of cocoa powder. And once this sets up in the fridge, that cocoa powder just kind of melds into the mascarpone cream, and it is just so good. I'm getting it on my counter, it's fine. Part of cooking is getting a little messy. And next we're just going to repeat with our remaining ladyfingers, coffee, and mascarpone cream. This is looking perfect. So ideally you would let this set up for at least 4 hours in your fridge. Overnight is best. I would say a full 24 hours is where you get the best tiramisu. It really melts together and is so good. However, I want to go ahead and taste it. I can't wait. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a little taste. Oh my God, that mascarpone cream goes down like butter. It is so light and luxurious and creamy. Oh, it is so good. And you get a little bit of the coffee and the rum that's been soaked into the ladyfingers and a little bit of that cocoa powder. It is so good. I'm gonna take another bite. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys make this recipe. If you do, let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks.